please.
More than reasonable, because we all... I'm trying to be. I'm really trying to be cool here. I don't want to blow up anyone's spot, but I mean, everyone knew how much he was making, and everyone knew how important you were to that show. So I'm thinking 100,000.
It's the classic. You would think.
All right, but someone has to say that for you.
And thank you.
I don't want you to say it. I thought you were asking for $1 million.
Well, years later, like when at one negotiation, when I told Dominic Barbara what I was asking for, he said he had to pull over on the side of the road because he couldn't believe how small the figure was.
That's a small
You know
figure.
what I mean?
So, Jackie, you actually went in and negotiated. Jackie, you're obviously a very honest guy because you could sit there with Mel without going through an agent. I wouldn't have the balls to do that and just go, look, this is what I deserve.
They screamed at me for not having an agent, so then I got a lawyer, and then they instantly hated the lawyer. It's a lot of it's theater, but it was very interesting. But I walked out, and I was done, and then Howard called me up and said, listen, I got to have you, and he paid the difference.
Okay, good. Well,
he actually paid the difference. And I love the show, and I never had any problem. And my last time when I left, it was like, I don't know, but I'm such a hypocrite because you draw a line in the sand. Like if somebody said, Jim, do you want to work a job in Alaska? You don't want to work the job, but instead of saying no, you say 150 grand. If they give you the 150 grand, fuck it, I'm going to Alaska.
Right.
So I drew a line in the sand for myself and said, I'm going to stick to this. And when I said what I wanted and when I didn't get it, I didn't do it. But then I called back a couple of months later and said, listen, if you give me the offer you offered, I will take it. So I'm a hypocrite. Oh. But I was the guy that broke up the Beatles. I felt like an asshole, But you got to draw a line in the sand and just say, this is, this is where I was.
Do you have regrets about that?
No, that's the final one.
And everybody for 8 years has been saying, we want to hear you say you regret it. Howard wants to hear me say, I don't, man, I've been having the time of a lifetime for 8 years. I got divorced. I left my job. I quit drinking and moved into a home by myself all at the same time. And any one of those is enough. Any one of those, they say, if you're going to quit drinking, don't change anything else. If you're going to quit your job, don't change anything. And I did all four at the same time. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Right. Turn me into an idiot. But for 8 years, I've been going to Cannes Film Festival and Toronto and Sundance and trying to get
of your life. Just you're broke, but you're having the time of your life.
It's wonderful. And people want me to say, "Oh, I left the greatest show," And it's know how fucking hard it is these hours. I was going to die. I could have never quit drinking. I couldn't imagine me trying to get divorced on that show. They would have pulled my wife over the parking lot spikes backwards. I wouldn't care what they did to me because I never cared what they did to me. I used to tell people half the shit that Howard said about me I wrote. People couldn't wrap their brain around that. Jackie's an asshole. Yeah, say that.
So you, Howard and gigs, man, you're still going out doing gigs, right? You still performing?
Yeah.
And he's got a show on Sirius XM.
For the, 1/100th of what I used to make. But you love it. You do it. That's what we're lifers.
And what's your show about on Sirius XM?
Dirty Jokes. An hour of Dirty Jokes. We just did our 164th show.
Wow.
And it's an hour of Dirty Jokes. We all tell a joke, the opening salvo. We tell a joke, the guests tell a joke. Then we have jokes that we setups for 2-line jokes, and then we give the answers the next week, and callers call in. It's just the stupidest, most fun. It's the most fun I've ever had on the radio. It's an hour of stupid jokes.
How many do you? I'm a horrible joke teller, like the type of joke, like a setup of, and then the Jew says, I'm the fucking horrible at that. It's
most comedians. Well, there's two things you don't do. You don't tell jokes, and you don't laugh at yourself. And I break both rules. That's why I've never gotten anywhere. But I fucking love it. That's all I do. I didn't go looking for an act. I told jokes my whole life, and I was a musician. I was shitty, and I quit music when I was 31, and I had all these jokes, and I didn't want to leave the stage, so I just started telling the jokes on stage and ran into a couple of comics. And I helped start comedy on Long Island. We did a show at Cinnamon, next to two doors away from your brother. Yeah. At the corner of Main Street and 110, and that grew into the East Side Comedy Club, the first comedy club.
You can say F.H. Riley's in the heart of Huntington Village. No one will mind. No one will mind.
I've dragged people there after my show.
Oh, really? Thanks, Jack. I appreciate that. I tell you, his cadence is so good. When I'm flipping around Sirius XM and you're on, I don't know.
A Raw Dog or something
Most likely Raw Dog. I stop every single time and listen, man.
Oh, that's sweet, man.
It's just something about your cadence.
And you know what it is?
It catches your attention. You're like, I got to listen to this for a little while.
But it's the same old shit. In 1979, I said, you know what? I just got to fill up albums with jokes because everybody's not going to want it. But everybody didn't have to want it. You know, everybody didn't like opera. But if you want a collection of dirty jokes, I said, God, if it's one person out of 100, I'll do great. It wasn't. It's like one person out of every 10 million. So I never sold any albums. But the whole point, I'm one of the most requested guys on Raw Dog because you listen to Jim Norton, you listen to Sam Kinison, you listen to George Carlin, you're screaming, laughing. But you can't get out of the truck and go say something. You listen to you guys for 20 minutes, then you hear 3 dick jokes from Jackie. The guy can get out of the car and go into the deli and tell one of the fucking jokes. So they love me. You know, I mean, it's got nothing to do with me. I'm just a conduit to get the stupid jokes to people, which is what I've always been, you know.
Did you have any, when you, because we were off the air for 2 years, and it was fucking.
Oh, it was brutal.
It was different circumstances, but I just felt like I will never recover from this. I finally had something that allowed me to be, to draw an audience. Did you have any regret, like, even though it might have passed, did you have any depression or any of the stuff of like, fuck, like just wishing you hadn't done it?
There was no regret that I wish I hadn't done it, but the one thing that's the most obvious thing that never dawned on me is to sit in that room with Fred Norris, who's the quickest, fastest, funniest, most talented person in the world. Nobody knows how unbelievable. You know, you start saying a sentence to him, before you get to the end of the sentence, he's saying something funny about it, and smart and witty. And being with Fred and Howard and Robin for 15 years, it's an unnatural situation to be sitting in a room for 4 hours laughing. You'd sit there and laugh, and you didn't even realize how much that's doing for your head or how fucking wonderful that was. And that's what I miss, not the money, not the fame. It's 8 years later. They still play me so much on that thing. I'm as famous, walk down the street, as many people know me now as knew me 8 years ago. It's never fallen off. Not that a lot of people know me, but as many. It's a very small amount of fame. It's a comfortable amount of fame. But sitting there and just, you know, guys, you sit here and laugh. It's like, wow. I don't have that anymore. Well, that's why I want to go in and sit down with people. That's what I could care less about the negotiation or anything, but the regret is, you know, you go to a bar and sit with a few guys and shoot the shit for a couple hours and tell a bunch of jokes. I get the same jizz, you know.
That was the problem when we got fired for 2 years. We were being paid. We were being paid.
But fuck the money.
It wasn't even about the fucking money.
Not even a little bit. It was being in this.
Wanting to fucking hang out.
Yeah, Opie, why don't you come over and let's sit and laugh for 3 hours?
We get on the phone. We get on the phone and do a show for
us.
2 people. For us. We're flipping through channels, just making jokes.
And you don't even realize you're doing it. Like, Jesus Christ,
it's like, boy, this would have been funny for a few million instead of 2.
And that must have been the same for you. I lost both of their numbers and immediately hopped on Colin Quinn's fucking coattail.
Wow, what a coattail that was.
I understand that.
Right into a brick wall he ran.
How long ago was this? How long ago did you lose the show for?
That was
August of 2002.
It's been a while now, but 2002
came back
to 2005.
Was this the infamous church
thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was 2 years.
26 months total.
2 years, 3 months.
Wow.
There's no compete. They made the show.
We tried to get out of the contract because we had Clear Channel ready to go.
Did you just drink all day?
Hold on, I'm telling Jackie something here. Clear Channel had us ready to go. They ready to throw us on.
I never understood that non-compete.
And they said
such horseshit.
They wanted control. They knew we would maybe hurt, you know, the company a little bit if we went somewhere else. So they said no,
which is flattering.
It was very flattering, Jackie.
But flattering and money and all that is not sitting around laughing and having the time of your life.
After a while, you realize like everybody you know is working, so there's no one to hang out with. You're just, you know, you wake up and go, I'll grab a couple of beers.
All right, listen, I'm most famous for one thing. So March 12th and 13th, I'm going to be at the Boca Raton New York Comedy Club. Do you work down there? It's a great Don Siegel and the gang.
I think I've done it years ago.
It's a you know. I'm back there. It's a New York Comedy Club, and Monday night I'm playing and singing 5 of my original songs at Morel's in Westbury and Long Island. You guys are probably too young. You don't remember a place called My Father's Place.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, this Morel's was started by Epi Epstein.
Oh, good old
But
Epi.
I don't think he's part of it anymore. You know, every place he goes, he's there for a week.
I saw a soft white underbelly at My Father's Place.
Yeah,
that was Blue Oyster
under the
Cult.
viaduct over there.
Yeah, it was great.
But Blue Oyster Cult used to play there, but they didn't want everyone to know, so they went as soft white underbelly.
Do you know Epi is the reason I'm a comedian? Because Epi was such a cheap fuck that my band, I had a terrible band on Long Island. We were 2-piece 3-piece. We added a piano player, but we were horrible. But people liked us. We were fun. I told jokes. We, blah, blah, blah. And when we got to play at my father's place, it was a big deal. And we'd tell all our friends and fans, please come to my father's place. We'll play my father's place. It was like, to us, it was Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
So